two negatives, right? So you have to add them together. The common denominator is 30. So you get -2 and 10/30ths, -2 and 9/30ths. Now, here's the thing. If you didn't write anything down on this class kick, if you didn't insert text boxes or take a picture of your work, you're not going to know where your mistakes are if you didn't get -4 and 19/30ths as your answer. Now, if you just got 4 and 19/30ths, then you probably know what mistake you made. You just forgot the minus sign. Or the other common one mistake answer would be 1/30th. Did anyone get 1/30th? If you subtracted these two things, the answer would be 1/30th, right? If you messed up the positive and negative number part. Okay, so this problem is worth 3 points, maybe 4. Okay, if you miss the minus sign, you lose a point for messing up the positive and negative number rules. Okay, if you convert one of these wrong or you have the wrong common denominator, you'll lose 1 or 2 points. Okay, so that's each one of those steps is worth points. -4 and 19/30ths. So what did you do on that one, Jess? Is for all of these problems, you can change them all to improper fractions. Does anybody change everything to improper fractions? You can do that too, right? That you change them to -7/3 and -23/10. Then you get -139/30ths as your answer, which you then have to convert back, which is probably the hardest part when you do improper fractions. Okay. Negative plus positive. So I'm going to subtract these two mixed numbers. This is a subtraction problem. And wow, I did not write much work for this one at all. This one is hard. Okay, because the subtraction you have to do is 7 1/8 minus 4 3/4. That's the subtraction I have to do without worrying about whether they're positive or negative, because I have to, different signs, subtract the values and take the sign of the larger value. Okay, so this one ends up being the most difficult problem. Okay, let me see some answers. Give me some answers that you got out there that are not correct. Obviously, the correct answer you know if you got it right because it's green. So, subtraction, need a common denominator. That common denominator is 8. So it's 7 1/8 minus 4 6/8. 6/8 is the same as 3/4. I look to subtract these and I see that the bigger number has a smaller fraction than the smaller number. Oh no, this is the most difficult kind of problem because I can't subtract whole number parts and fraction parts because the fraction part subtraction doesn't work. I can rename
2 and
3/8, okay. I can rename 6 9/8 minus 4 6/8. Take 1 away from this whole and add 8/8 to the fraction part. That's renaming. Now I can subtract and I get 2 3/8. This one. Why is this answer incorrect? It's not negative because you got to go back to the original problem and remember. So this one you'll lose a half a point on this problem. Half a point, maybe 1 point out of 6. Okay, that's not a bad mistake at all. You just forgot that it was a positive plus a negative. Okay. These I can't really tell what you did on those. Okay, I can tell what this person did. Okay, what did this person do that got -3? Is that you? Yeah, so you were good to hear, right? I get that. This was all good. You subtracted 7 minus 4 and got 3. Okay, but then when you did 1, you added the fractions instead of subtracting them. That is not a very significant mistake either. You would lose 1 point out of 6 with this answer, even though it's totally wrong answer. Okay, but most of the steps you did correctly. Just the renaming part that you messed up. 3 5/8, same thing. got to this point correctly, and then did 6 minus 1, but that's backwards. The subtraction's not going this way, not going from this number minus this number. That's why you have to rename. This is also not a very significant mistake. So all these answers would be, get a B plus on this problem. 5 out of 6, okay? The correct answer, of course, is negative 2 3/8. All right, and again, this is the hardest one. This is the hardest problem on this worksheet. 1 5 6 minus 3 7/8, minus negative 3 7/8. So this one minus a negative means it's not going to be that hard because minus a negative is the same as adding, right? So it's adding, which you could do that first thing, right? Same change. And common denominator of 6 and 8 is 24. So it's 1 20 24ths plus 3 21 24ths. Okay, that's the equivalent fractions of 5, 6, and I should have asked for wrong answers on this one too. Okay.
The only thing I did wrong was I kept the plus like
You didn't change this to plus and plus?
Yeah, I kept it.
Yeah, so those positive and negative number rules that we learned back in Unit 3, those are every problem here. You have to use those rules. So it's, that's kind of how that goes. So add these together, add the whole number parts, add the fraction parts. Anybody leave their answer as 4 and 41 over 24? No, why not? Because this part is an improper fraction, and you can't leave an improper fraction in a mixed number. If it was just this, that's a right answer. But for a mixed number with an improper fraction is not right at all. Okay, so 24 goes into 41 one time with 17 left over. So the answer is 5 17 24ths. All right. Number 10. 7 5/12 plus negative 7 7/8. Okay, what kind of answers, wrong answers do I have in this one? Give me your wrong answers.
4 and 11.
Where was I? Number 10. Any correct answers on incorrect answers on number 10?
Okay, I got 1 and 7 24.
1 7/24. Other incorrect answers. Nothing in the chat. Everyone got this one right. Let me go look at the class kick. Saw it. All right, so the common denominator here is 24. So this is 7 10 24ths plus negative 7 21 24ths. Positive plus negative means you subtract the values, bigger minus smaller. So this one I don't have to rename because the bigger number is the bigger fraction. So I just subtract 7 minus 7, the whole number parts is 0, and 21 minus 10 is 11. So the answer is 11 24ths, but it's negative because the bigger number is the negative number. So your addition rules for positive and negative numbers tell you that your answer must be negative. Okay? 1 7 24ths.
I didn't subtract it again. I didn't change it to subtract it. I just added them.
You added these?
I think so. I don't
Weird.
know what I did. I think,
Okay.
it says,
Oh, you added these and you got 31 24ths.
and then
You subtracted the whole number parts, but you added the fraction parts. Okay. All right, so that's it's not that bad. 1 point problem, 1 point mistake on this, another 6 point problem. You got a B plus on that one too. And remember, these are the hardest ones. So all the easy problems, you get them all right and you just miss a couple of points on these, you're gonna get an A on the test. Okay. All right, this one, another subtraction. This one's another bad one because the bigger fraction is smaller. I mean, the bigger number fraction is smaller than the smaller number fraction. Okay, so it's negative 1 9/12 plus 5 2/12 means I have to subtract this minus this because these are an addition of numbers with different signs. So 5 2/12 minus 1 9/12. Ugh, the fraction part on the bigger number is smaller, so I got to rename or go to improper fractions. So I take 1 whole 12, 1 whole out of here, and I add 12 up here, 12/12, which is the same as 1 whole. So this becomes 14/12. Now I subtract whole number parts and fraction parts, and I get 3 5/12. I go back up here, the bigger number is positive, so the answer is positive. Okay? Can anyone not tell what mistake they made after I just went over those answers? You could also do it with improper fractions if you wanted to. So negative 4.5 minus negative 6 2/5. So that means that this is going to be plus positive. Keep change, because it's a subtraction of negative numbers. That means I have to subtract these values because now it's an addition of two numbers with different signs. So it's negative 4 5/10 and 6 4/10. Common denominator is 10. Equivalent fractions are these. So I have to subtract these two values. 6 4/10 minus 4 5/10. Oh, this one is a renaming one. I gave you too many renaming ones. I blasted. Okay, can't do this subtraction, which just any have probably tried to do, right? You have like 9/10 or 1/10.
Yeah, I got
-10. Okay, so you added these two
Yep.
instead of subtracting
I
them.
pretty much did the exact same mistake for each.
Okay, and again, so there'll be one of these on the test. So 6 4/10 renames to 5 14/10. Add 10/10 to this fraction. Now I can subtract bigger whole number minus smaller whole number, bigger fraction minus smaller fraction. And you get 1 9/10. Or these numbers aren't too big, so you can do this as improper fractions, right? Change these to improper fractions, and you get 19/10, which is not so bad to get back to the answer. All right, I spent way more time in here than I'm going to spend in the other classes. In the other classes, I'm going to go through these really quick there because they're so far behind. So, but I hope that helped you guys. You'll be better off on these problems than everyone else who's going to have trouble with them. Okay. All right. Again, you will see 1 or 2 of these on the test. 1 or 2.